In this video, I am going to try and provide you with a few methods, or at least one method, for repairing damage done to the plywood or other wood subflooring through some type of damage from your toilet. And this, of course, is the damage right here to the structural plywood. And the first step for this repair will be to cut the damaged plywood out, or subflooring. Now, I would recommend cutting all of the damage you possibly can out. I can understand if you have a cabinet here, you have a bathtub here, if some of the damage goes underneath the bathtub or the cabinet, you're not willing to get into that. I hear you. Cut as much of it out as you feel you need to, but the more that is damaged, the better. Always, when you're repairing something, always better to do it correct the first time, if humanly possible. Take a look at the bottom side. Here we can see that the pipe here is supported by a block. I'm usually going to have a strap underneath the block, or a strap around the pipe, to the block. After that, you will need to install some blocks underneath the flooring, subflooring, and attach them to the joist. And I think, I'm okay using screws for stuff like this. And if you can't attach to the framing, maybe, and I have some different videos, go check out our framing, our repair tab, our repair section. Go to our homepage. Go to the repair section, and then go to the framing, and then to the floor section. And you might even want to check out the bathroom section in the remodeling area on our website also for more ideas. I made a lot of videos on how to make repairs, how to put blocks in and stuff like that. Now, the main reason why you're going to want to put these blocks in, as I have it right here, is so that the screws from the toilet flange can actually attach through the sheathing, through the floor sheathing, into the blocks. A lot of plumbers just simply screw the flange to the floor sheathing, and sometimes the toilet starts to rock, it starts to move, and it just pulls these right out. I'd also recommend using brass screws if possible. Stainless steel might work also. And I believe that's one of the building codes. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're supposed to use brass for these flanges. And this is the existing flange, the bolts that'll hold the toilet on. And you can see here where the blocks are about 1/4 of an inch away from the plastic. Not going to be a good idea to put it right up against the plastic. Leave a minimum of 1/8 of an inch. I'd like to see 1/4 of an inch if possible. And even if you put these blocks in and you can only get one of these screws in on each side, that's going to be better than none. Not being able to get any of them in. Keep that in mind if you can't notch around the plumbing, or it's too difficult, something like that, to install the blocks. I understand. Next step will be to cut a piece of subflooring the same size that you have cut your that you have removed from the subflooring, and hopefully all your corners are square. Nice to start with a square piece. Then you will measure from the front of the toilet flange or the pipe to the existing sheathing, and then transfer that measurement to your to the piece of plywood or subflooring you're going to use. Go around the toilet flange, measure from side to side, transfer that mark to the subflooring repair piece. Again, back to here. And you can do this a variety of different ways. I'm just kind of throwing this one out here. Put the mark on there. Just kind of go around here. And there you have it. You have a nice square. And I would recommend keeping this 1/4 of an inch away. If you measure, let's just say you measure the distance from here to the pipe and it's 3 inches, just subtract 1/4 of an inch. So if it's 3 inches, make this 2 3/4 right here, and then give yourself 1/4 of an inch around the pipe, or at least the space away from the pipe. After that, simply draw a couple of lines to connect the corners, and this will provide you with the center of the pipe or the flange, and then you can draw your circle. If you need some help figuring out how to draw a circle for something like this, you can use a compass. Sometimes I've even grabbed round jars from my house until I found one that's going to fit in here, and then maybe it might be the lid to something. Even some canning. You have some old canning jars, so grab a lid, see if it fits, and then simply trace around it, and that could be your easiest method possible for creating a circle. If not, grab the center, grab a compass, go around the center, and I believe I do have a video on this. I'll put a link right here somewhere for you. If I don't put the link, go to the website, and I believe it's in the home building area and should be at the top of the page, how to draw a circle with a tape measure. After that, you can cut the hole out with a jigsaw or with a drill bit if you have a large enough one. And then you will need to draw a line down the center, and this can be done in either direction if it will work. You can see here that because we're going to cut this board in half. The reason why we're going to cut it in half is so that we can slip it underneath the flanges. It's actually what inspired me to make the video. So keep watching. At the end of the video, I will have a segment on that. So we will cut this one in half. And again, you can do it in different directions. And here, even if we cut it in half, you could actually cut this into quarters if you needed to, or cut it into different segments, as long as you have the backing underneath it to securely fasten everything. There it is. We have our two pieces here. And we will simply slide one in. And then we will slide the other side in also. So you can see here where you have fixed it, and the subflooring is underneath the flange. This is the way it should be. Now, if you're having a difficult time getting the subflooring in, this is what I kind of meant. You can actually cut it into pieces as long as you have the backing underneath it to attach everything securely. So here you can see where we've got the blocks in here. When we put these pieces in, they will be supported by the blocks, and that something like this should work just fine. And again, you can always cut this piece in half. You can cut it into thirds. You can cut it into quarters, whatever you need to get it underneath the flange. Again, like I said, just as long as you have enough backing underneath it to support everything securely. Last but not least, the reason why I made this video, and someone actually made a few videos, quite a few of them, and they weren't showing how to cut the subflooring replacement piece in half. They were simply going around the flange. You can see right here, they cut the piece of subflooring to fit over the toilet flange, and this doesn't allow you any room to install the screws. Now, could you do something like this and then put some filler pieces in here and block underneath this? Yeah, you could. That would be just fine, but why bother when you can simply cut the piece in half and do it as I suggested in the video. So anyway, that's it. This is the reason why I made the video. And for those of you who haven't watched my 2017 top 10 videos, what are you waiting for? Hey, what the heck? If you haven't seen it, and this is 2052, go back and watch it. And what the heck, you just might learn something. So anyway, that's it for this video, and it is off to the next one.